Hi guys, my name is Zende and welcome back to another video. So today's topic is going to be becoming the new girl at school. This is going to be the guide to you being the new girl in school. Whether you are a freshman entering in a high school or you're completely moving states in the middle of the year if you're not watching this during summertime, or you're starting out in a new school, beginning of the year in a new district. Regardless of what I'm saying, you are the new girl. And if you are the new girl for the first time, it could be a very daunting experience if it's not something you've been doing 6 times like I have. So you go in there and maybe what you're thinking is that it's going to be like what Disney Channel or Nickelodeon has taught us about what being the new girl is. For example, you go in there and there's going to be mean girls, there's going to be popular girls, and you're not going to fit in because everybody's already having their groups and you can't really get anywhere in the life that you want at the school. And I'm here to tell you that that is
false,
because you can have a good life even as the new girl. Just because you left your friends in your old school, you've left your life in your old school, does not mean that you can create another life in this school or even just a better one. And I'm here to teach you today how you can do that specifically as somebody who's gone to 6 schools as a military brat. Anyways, with that being said, I'm not trying to waste your time, so let's jump right into the video. Okay, so number 1, and I really want you to brace yourself for this one, nobody cares, likely, that you are the new girl in a school, okay? So especially if you're going into a public school. I know it can vary for small towns, but especially for public schools where there's 2,000 kids, nobody is probably going to know anyway. If there's 500 kids to a grade and you're just now going in there, nobody's gonna know. You're gonna go into classes and people will just assume that you came from a different middle school or something along those lines. And especially if you're a junior or a senior, even then nobody will probably know. Again, if there are so many people in a school, nobody is going to remember that you're new unless you do something stupid, and we'll get into that in the later chapters of the video. But for now, I just want you to know that nobody will probably care. So if you're expecting everybody to, shame you for somehow being the new girl in school, probably not gonna happen like that. At least in all the places that I've been in, there's a lot of decent people out there that are probably just going to stay in their lane and not really care, if there's one new kid that they're going to torment, if they were even going to torment them in the first place. So number 1, plain and simple, nobody will probably care that you are new to the school. With that being said, that goes on to tip number 2, which is going to be to read the culture of the school that you are at, okay? You are going to take a week. You are going to figure out what people hang out here, what people hang out there. What does this school value the most? Do they value sports? Do they value education? Do they value their theater program? Or just in general, what do they value? And what people hang out here, what people hang out there. Do the people in this part hang out in this club? Who hangs out in the bathroom? You'll probably want to know that if you're in public school. But all of these things you need to figure out. And the reason why this is effective, the reason why you have to go do this is because you want to expand your knowledge on the school so you can know what types of people you personally want to gravitate towards. And the other thing is that you can figure out if you want to follow the crowd. There is nothing wrong with following the crowd if you believe that these people are genuinely good and they go towards good things and you want to be like that, then I would say do everything in your power to be ingratiated in that crowd and to follow them. Or you might realize after taking in all this information that you do not want to follow the crowd. But once you take in that information, it's going to be very beneficial for you to go do that so you're not making a stupid mistake down the line where you do something, you don't know the culture of the school, and it completely blows up in your face. And that leads me into number 3, which is going to be, while you're examining the culture of your school, you need to stay low-key, okay? Don't raise your hand in class. Please don't draw attention to yourself or just do anything that, the culture of your last school was sort of doing if it was very specific to that school. And the reason why I say this is because while you're doing that, you do not want to do something, again, like I said, you do not want to do something without the knowledge that you have from getting the culture of that school and then have it blow up in your face for the rest of the year. And an example of this is myself, because I came from a Catholic school of about 100 people. It was K through 8th. We were taught to do certain things, and I carried that over into the public school. I acted kind of the same way, and I was a very attention-drawing person, so I was naturally like that, and I had those customs combined with that at my last school. So what happened was that I carried the customs that I did at my last school, along with being very out there, and not even my last school liked me for that. And I did that in the public school, and I got severely bullied. Like, it was like day one, I almost got into a fight, and it was just all of this stuff, and honestly, I regret it. But the thing is, I learned from it, and I want you to know this too, so that you don't make the same mistake that I did. Now, can there be a situation where you get into some trouble with this person or that person? Yes, but it could be very minor, and it could be very severe. So I think just, kind of gauging when to do certain stuff is very essential, okay? So that would be number 3. Number 2 and 3 are not meant to scare you, but I want you to know to be very cautious of where you are. It's kind of like when in France, act French, but you have to know how to act French first. And then to leave on a final note off of 2 and 3, I want to say that let's just say you're a person, you've analyzed the school, and you've realized that you don't like the customs of the new school, and that you want to act like how you did in your old school instead of the new school, and you're somebody who is like, yep, I want to raise my hand, I want to be bold, I want to do this, and that, that kind of correlates to that, but then the new school is kind of like, very shy or like very aggressive, hold your own, and you're a very kind person, then I would say that if you want to, then act in that way if you do not care what people think of you. It's just that if you're somebody who wants to, be smart about it, if you're somebody who wants to discover whether they want to keep acting like that in this new school, then I would say, be low-key and make sure to analyze before you react. With that being said, here's number 4, and that is, unless you've discovered that you want to be like a lone wolf, then I would say once you've analyzed the culture of the school, I want you to analyze specifically the friend group that you want to ingratiate yourself in. So do you want to ingratiate yourself with the volleyball girls? Do you want to ingratiate yourself with the soccer girls? Or the, book girls? Or like the more studious type of girl? Or, the bathroom girls? Again, if you know what I'm talking about. Which girl group do you want to associate yourself with? Or maybe it's like a mix of girls and boys. I know that's very common here where I'm at. So once you figure that out, I want you to analyze, how do they talk? How do they dress? What types of brands they wear, which can be very important if they're very like brand oriented. And, all of these things, like what their morals are and stuff like that. And then once you've realized that, I do want to be able to be in that friend group, then I would say try to almost become like that. You don't have to throw all your morals away and become like this robot and then agree with everything that they say. But knowing these things can help you gauge like, okay, I can do this, this, and this to seem very appealing to this friend group, since people are very attracted to people that they are like. So again, if you decide that you don't want to do any of those things, good luck getting into that friend group. Sometimes maybe they will accept you into that. Again, it really just depends on the friend group, the school, and whatever. I would just say number 4 essentially is to, figure out what that friend group values, figure out what they want to be in life, and then sort of, assimilate into that a little bit as your own unique person. All right, so 5th and final takeaway is going to be you need to choose change to be a good thing. When you choose for change to be a good thing, your life goes a whole lot better. And I implemented this way too late, probably by like my 5th or 6th school by the time I graduated this year, where I went, I might go into this school, I might go into this job, I might go into anywhere. It might go so horribly, everybody might hate me or anything like that. or I can become, one of the best people there and I can have the greatest experience ever. But regardless of what is going to happen there, regardless of whatever I do, then I am going to take something away from it. I am going to draw something from it and say, yeah, this helped me enrich myself as a person. And this may sound like I'm being a self-guru who is like spitting off the mouth constantly, but I lived it. Like, I lived this my entire life because of the lifestyle that my parents have chose for me when I was born. So I just want you to please, for yourself, choose for change, choose for this new school, just choose any type of change to be a good thing. And with that being said, if you like the content that I'm putting here, if you like this video especially, please, drop a like and check out the other videos if you're interested in this type of content. Or maybe even just comment, how many schools you've been to in the past years that you've been to before you graduated or while you're still in school. With that, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or night, and I will see you in the next video. All right, ciao.